and other regime, they are not a friend to the democracy. The regime, they worship power, thrives on corruption, and expand through repressions. We're happy to invite some Ukraine activists to stand here with us. So first, we welcome Iman Akford. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And today I'm here to speak about international solidarity and also international oppression. My name is Iman Akford. I am Ukrainian activist from Donetsk and my home city occupied from 2014. I am also official representative of Chechen group United Force in UK, and I have some message from them, and also I have some message from Chechens who now fighting for Ukraine, for Ukrainian freedom. But first, I want to all of us repeat: no China mega embassy, no CCP, free Tibet, free East Turkestan, free Hong Kong, free Taiwan, free Ukraine, Slava Ukraine, Slava, free Chechnya, free Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, yeah. And Crimea is Ukraine. Thank you very much, friends. And yeah, thank you. And democracy for China, but smaller China, after all people who want to be free from China will be free. Also, democracy for small Russia. Yeah. And sorry if I forget some nations that now under occupation of China and some territories. Sorry for that. What I want to begin saying to you. First, I want to say the quote that first president of our independent Chechen Republic of Ichkeria once said. First president was Johar Dudayev, and when Soviet Union collapsed, Chechen Republic of Ichkeria became independent after Chechnya had 400 years of anti-colonial fight. So, first Chechen independent president said that if now Europe will believe that Chechnya in a case of Russia, once Europe will be in a question for Russia, once Europe will be under Russian control. He also said that Russia will fall after Ukrainian sun will rise. So he knew that Russia going to attack Ukraine. No one believed him. They think that he is like kind of conspirologist, or they just leader, so-called leader of small nations that don't have any resources, that no reason to have negotiation with him. They prefer to negotiate with Russia. And then look what's going on after that. Russia attacked, destroyed independent Chechnya. Russia attacked Georgia. Russia attacked Syria. Russia took Crimea. And all this time, the West tried to compromise. Then Russia attacked Ukraine. The same going on now with China. China became even smarter than Russia. China tried to buy loyalty of international community. Just look in the shops, look on the clothes you have, how many stuff made in China. So they just tried to buy UK, they tried to buy Europe, they tried to buy USA. You know, when I was younger and I was reading about Cold War, I was thinking that Henry Kissinger was very smart man, basically because I was raised in Ukraine and I don't like Soviet Union, and you know, Soviets and communists don't like Henry Kissinger. But then, when I found out about Henry Kissinger negotiation with Mao, and basically he sold the United States to China in some way, opening all this negotiation, it was compromise after compromise after compromise. How it can end? Because country like China, country like Russia, they never feel that they have enough power until they have absolute power. It's like, I don't know, it's like empire in Star Wars. Basically, it's like empire in Star Wars. And they learn from each other. I mean, just, you know, in Russia, when Russia occupied Chechnya, they created these concentration camps. They call it filtration camps. All men from like 12, 13 years old to almost 70 can be taken to the scams by fake accusation and terrorism. Especially after 9/11 happened, they were saying the Chechen people terrorists just for being Muslim, despite the Chechen leaders condemned 9/11, despite the Chechen leaders was against attacking civilians. But just to use fancy labels that Western will approve, and basically it's because Western country bought Russian gas, yes? So they were saying the Chechens are terrorists. They was taking innocent men and tortured them to death. There was horrific tortures like despicable stuff that I wouldn't say there because it's too horrible to speak about it here. Now Russia doing the same with Ukrainian prisoners, and they posting this online. They're doing the same like real terrorists like ISIS doing. So the only difference between ISIS and Russia, basically because ISIS never have nuclear power and have never had this influence. The same like China, basically China and Russia, they learn from each other. I mean, Russian occupied government in Chechnya provide consultation for CCP, how to create concentration camps in East Turkestan, how feed Muslims with pork and with alcohol, how beat them with electroshocks, how torture them and call it officially the war on terror. Russia teach China how to do it. Also, the way that Russia persecuted people in Hong Kong, China persecuted people in Hong Kong, it's so similar to the way that the rhetoric that we are like so-called one nation, that doesn't matter that you want, that like Hong Kong want to be under European colonialism. The same Russia saying about Ukraine, that Ukrainian people want to be under European colonialism, but they are our brothers. And after naming Ukrainians their brothers, Russian killed them. China doing the same with Hong Kongis, so it's a lot of parallel stuff. China taking away Tibetan children, and Russia taking away Ukrainian children, trying to brainwash them, trying to destroy their culture, creating culture genocide. There are a lot of similarity between China and Russia. Yes, they're now friends, sometimes they're enemies, but again, the same going on with many terrorist organizations. You know, Al-Qaeda and ISIS sometimes was friends and sometimes was enemies. I mean that ISIS once was Al-Qaeda in Iraq, then ISIS hate Al-Qaeda and fight Al-Qaeda, but it doesn't mean that ISIS good, Al-Qaeda is good. The same like when Nazis came to power in Nazi Germany, they first was friends with Joseph Stalin, Soviet dictators, then there was enemies, but it doesn't mean that we need to choose between Stalin and Hitler. Yes, the West, of course, worked together with Stalin against Nazi Germany, but it doesn't mean that Stalin was a good man. I'm saying this about all these rumors that China and Russia now competing each other. Even if this will be this way, we don't need to choose the side between two terrible evils. And these evils will be closer to each other than to any normal civilized society. It always will be. And it's important to Western society to remember, especially to Western youth, that colonialism is not just about some artifacts in British Museum. It's about people who now killed because of their nationality, because of their religion's beliefs, or because they want freedom. It's happened on Russian occupied territory. It happened in China's occupied territory. And this is real colonialism. It's not just some fancy balls that invented by leftists. It's real stuff that's going on like now. And yes, many people who call themselves leftists, many communists, they're terrible. They're fascists, basically the same. And they're not fighting for freedom. They're against freedom. It is important to remind it. So, because if it's not one day this will be inner issues and inner territory of China or Russia. So, yeah, I know that now it's King's birthday and not all people support royal family. And yes, I know that UK have a lot of issues. Maybe one day Northern Ireland will be independent, it will be cool, or people from Wales sometimes not support United Kingdom for their own reasons. They can be independent one day as well as Scotland. I know that all, but now it's important to unite against common enemy, because this embassy will be used as a spy base. China can't be trusted the same way like Russia can be trusted. So, like, happy birthday to King and freedom to all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are now protecting UK from authoritarian regimes. And it's important to remember, we're here not just for China, not just for Eastern Turkestan, for Uyghurs, for Tibetans, for Hong Kong, for Mongols, for Taiwan, for Crimea Tatars, for Ukrainians, for Chechens, for Buryats that occupied by Russians. We are here also for UK. Like it was a slogan when Soviet Union collapsed in Poland, in Poland and also among Soviet dissidents for our freedom and for your freedom. And here we for our freedom and for your freedom. And basically this is what Chechen battalions that now fighting against Russia in Ukraine, battalion named after Sheikh Mansour. It's the hero of Chechen people, freedom fighter. So official representative of this battalion said, please say to people who are under Chinese occupation that we are fighting for, we are supporting their freedom and our freedom. We're fighting for their freedom and our freedom. Thank you very much. No to CCP! No to CCP.
Thank you, Arman. We are honored to invite another Ukraine activist, Mr. Pavlo. So thank you. Thank you for giving us another speech today.
Thank you very much. Long time no see, my friends, right? For those who remember my speech today earlier on, this time I would like to speak about something more insidious. This is a more insidious side of the CCP, transnational repression. What exactly is it? It's a kind of repression that knows no bounds and no borders, my friends. We have heard many times about the atrocities of the CCP within the borders of China right now, within their technical jurisdiction. Although, to be fair, they make promises to the people of Hong Kong to respect their freedoms. They have backtracked on all of those promises, of course, as they would always do. But the truth be told, my friends, the real transnational repression that's happening right now is something that's invisible to the vast majority of people. And that's a very sad thing. The CCP is spreading their influence via the Belt and Road Initiative. They're spreading their influence via extortionate loans they give to poorer countries. They spread their influence by building up infrastructure in some places, sometimes with very shardy materials, let's face it, so-called tofu drags. But the question here is not the quality. The question here is, what will the CCP want in return? As the saying goes, no deal with the devil ever goes in the favor of the person who wants to make that deal. Whatever the CCP might be promising, whatever the CCP might start giving to the people, that they have made all of those promises, the price will be overwhelming. That is always the case. I'd like to make a small mention to just a couple of examples of transnational repression. This time, I'll make an example of Russia. Russia is the brute in the room. Russia does the things that the CCP does not want to be seen doing right now. The CCP sponsors those things as much as they can. They're not the only ones. The North Korean terrorist regime and the Ayatollah terrorist regime in Iran, they also sponsor Russia. But they do not have the sway the CCP does. The short-term enemy of Europe is Russia. That's a clear-cut statement. However, the CCP is more powerful in terms of their international influence. And their influence is not diminishing, it's growing. With the latest, countless mistakes of the American administration, the CCP is filling up the gap. The countries that used to be friends of America, that have been threatened by the current administration, are now seeking closer relations with the CCP. This is a terrifying image, my friends. This is a terrifying thing that we need to oppose as much as we can. All of you, my friends, the Tibetans, the people of Hong Kong, the Uyghurs, all of you, you know what China is. Some of the Ukrainians know what Russia is. You know the enemy of the free world. That is why I'd like to say to all of you, thank you for coming here and for telling the whole world the message that needs to be spoken, the message that must not be silenced. And whenever you feel like what you're doing is less important or it's irrelevant, think again, because this is unbelievably important. If every person in this world told the truth straight up in an articulate way, then perhaps there would be less people believing in lies. But if people only have lies surrounding them, if they are surrounded by an echo chamber of CCP propaganda, of course they will believe it. Because they see no alternative. They don't see any counterpoint. That is why this has a purpose. What we do here has a deep meaning. I told many people today in this rally that the pictures I see in front of me, they're very much reminiscent of Maidan, which was the mass protests in Ukraine against the Russian puppet regime back then. The regime had fled the country, and now Ukraine is in a state of all-out war with Russia. Russia continues to act as if there's no war happening, as if they have more power to spare. They do not. The only thing they have to spare is their nuclear arsenal. That is the only thing they haven't used yet, because they're scared. They're scared of repercussions. The CCP, as has been mentioned today many times, is more cunning than Russia. It's a more dangerous enemy. It's an enemy further away from Europe, but it is still an enemy. Make no mistake, they will take the opportunity that is being squandered by America. That is why the free world needs to unite once more and remember what it truly stands for. Remember its ideals of freedom of speech, of tolerance, of rule of law, and forget about all of these populist scum betraying their country and selling it off to the CCP like Orban did, like Fico did, like Putin did, and like many others will do unless people know better than to believe in populist rhetoric. That sounds all fine and dandy. Oh, you know that other country? I don't care about that. That's not my country, not my borders. Foolishness. No country can survive in a vacuum. There is no such a thing as a vacuum for any country in this world. We're all in this boat together. And the CCP plans to take the reins of it, take the wheel, and drive it down a vortex. That is what they're planning to do. I've spoken with many people, both who lived in China, who visited China, who support and who oppose the CCP. And it's very interesting that every single time people say that they support the CCP, every single time they focus on very, very superficial things. Oh, you know, there's a lot of jobs. Oh, the transports are great. The cities, they're so clean. I mean, it sounds eerily reminiscent of what people say in support of North Korea. Yes, there are those who support North Korea. I thought it was insane too, but there are. They look at this dystopian image of a huge crowd of people, all in unison, clapping to their quote-unquote leader. And they see this as a good thing. Oh, look, there's no discord. There's no animosity. There's no opposition. My friends, it's all a lie. It's a big, fat lie. And people need to be told that these sort of aesthetics of liars, what the North Koreans do when they put their front buildings to the train station in a pretty way, they make them look pretty. But the buildings in the back, they look horrible. It's not very far apart from what China does. It's just that China does it better. They do it more skillfully. They hide it better. Ask them about Tiananmen Square. It's insane, but they always pretend it never happened. And if it did happen, it was the fault of the students. And if it wasn't the fault of the students, it wasn't as bad. And if it was as bad, other people did worse. It's the mentality of a psychopath. Every single time you call them out on a lie, they will make up another, and then another, and then another. No more. No more believing the CCP. No more concessions with their puppets like Russia. No more attempts of reasoning with them, or just tapping them on the wrist and saying, oh, you've been a bad boy. No more of that. There need to be real consequences for their violations of human rights. There need to be real consequences for their violations of the freedoms of this country and many other countries that are trying their best to subvert. I thank you all, my friends, once again for being here. Me as a Ukrainian, I face no consequences for speaking out here. But you, the CCP, has a wider range of international repression than Russia does. So it's very brave for you to come here today, and I truly respect that. Stop the CCP! Stop the CCP! Stop the CCP! All together we will win! All together we will win! All together we will win! Lastly, as I mentioned before, I'd like to just finish with one small example. This is an example of an individual who called out the Russian terrorist regime for what it is. This is the example of Litvinenko, who was poisoned here in this country with cold tea, and it became a code word for Novichok. Make no mistake, this should have been a more widely known cause. However, it is up to us to speak about it. It's up to us to inform people about all of these atrocities that Russia has done, the CCP is doing, and that they will do if they are allowed to do as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pavel. So this China mega embassy is not about diplomacy. It's a threat to national security. Just last year, the staff from the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, HKETO, were charged with spying activities. So this is not suspicious. They've bugged the parks, they've infiltrated pubs, they launched cyber attacks on the MPs. These are not all the isolated incidents. These are part of the strategy. We are also very welcome Apple from the China Division, who is one of the major, who is affected by this transnational repressions most. So welcome Apple, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Apple, and I'm speaking today as a Chinese who has experienced the violence of transnational repression, not in theory, but on my own body, in my own life. In 2022, after attending the Urumqi fire protest outside the Chinese embassy in London, a peaceful vigil to mourn the Uyghur lives lost in the lockdown homes, I was followed. That night, as I walked away from the embassy, I noticed two men I didn't recognize walking in the same direction. At first, I told myself it was coincidence, but after several turns, I couldn't deny it anymore. At that moment, I felt something many of us in the Chinese diaspora know all too well. Not just fear, but a warning. I know I couldn't go home. I couldn't risk leading him there. So instead, I hid into a private clinic. I was hidden by the hallway and watched. He lingered outside, unsure, but eventually he left. But the fear didn't. After that night, the harassment didn't stop. I received threatening calls with unknown numbers, silent lines, sometimes just breathing. They came again and again. My family, far away, with no protection, were targeted too. I cannot speak about it in details, not because I want to hide, but because I am still trying to protect them. The cost of speaking out follows us across continents. It shows up in phone calls, in surveillance, in fear, and in the silence we are forced to carry. This is what transnational repression looks like. It isn't loud, it's not dramatic, it's quiet, slow, suffocating. It slips into your daily life, into your mind, into your body, and it doesn't stop with you. And yet, we are here. I am here. Roaming core is not just a location. It is being handed to the Chinese state as a symbol of power and presence. And I ask, at what cost? Who was consulted? Who was silent? I live in Tower Hamlet. I do not consent to this embassy being built in my neighborhood. Now all people like me are being followed, harassed, and threatened into silence. We will not be silenced. We will be here. No mega embassy! No mega embassy! Thank you.
Thank you, Apple. Thank you. So this China Mega Embassy will not just affect Hong Kongers, or Uyghurs, or Tibetans, or Ukraine, or any people, but also the most people that will be affected by this will be the residents around this World Mean Court. So we're happy to invite Mark from the World Mean Court to give us some of his thought. Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking out here at all your demonstrations, and what I see is many people with masks, many people with balaclavas, many people with sunglasses, all hiding their identity. And why is that? It's because you're scared of what this represents. You're scared of the CCP. We live in the United Kingdom. We have freedoms. Freedoms that are guaranteed by the Magna Carta going back 800, 900 years. So why are we worried? Because this will become a mega embassy where there will be places for people, dungeons, police stations, and surveillance. My residence, there are 100 flats, will be overlooked by the residents of the embassy staff. They will be looking at us. There will be cameras. So in effect, we will be doing the same as you will be doing. We will be hiding our identities. We will be wearing masks. We will be wearing sunglasses. We will be having balaclavas not to be identified, because any one thing that may be misrepresentative will become a situation whereby, as they are our freeholders, they will be able to come in and do what they want. And that is not right. So we have to really oppose this. Now, I don't know if you know, but this week the Public Inspector's Inquiry report was handed in to the government. So it's now in the hands of Angela Rayner to make a decision. We have to keep shouting out no. Now, Westminster is 2.5 miles down that way. I'd like you all to turn in that direction and shout out no mega embassy, no CCP, no to CCP. Turn around towards Westminster and shout that out. Okay? No mega embassy.
大家倒後轉，向後望住西敏寺。
No to CCP.
No to CCP.
Yeah. UK government, do the right thing. Reject it. Okay?
No mega embassy. No mega embassy. UK government. Do the right thing. UK government. Do the right thing.
An hour ago, I was going around with a photographer for a paper. We were taking some photos on our estate, and then out on the slip road appeared security from the embassy, and they were looking at us. They've got cameras there, they know what we were up to, they know what it was about, so for all we know we might have repercussions later on. So please, for the next 3 months, please keep shouting no. Okay? We will join you in that because we understand why you wear masks, why you have balaclavas, why you don't want to be identified. We are with you. And I'd like to thank all those people that donated to our fighting fund. We have paid off some of our bills for the barrister and some for our security experts. But this could go further if the government decides it's going to agree to it. We then have to decide what we want to do. That is going to result in a lot more money needed to fight it. Okay, so keep watching, keep listening, keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. We've also honored to invite Zeng from Bonham 3A to give a speech for us. Thank you.
係唔該晒，但係因為時間關係，可能我分享用中文去分享啦，咁樣。咁啊，其實我諗中國大使館呢個威脅係非常之清晰，我哋喺咁多次集會已經講得好清楚。有3件事大家一定要記住，幾耐都要記住。第一，佢哋喺曼城試過嘗試拉人入去；第二，中國試過透過 ETO 去進行呢個間諜滲透；第三，喺呢件案件入邊嗰一個證人係死於非命。呢3件事喺光天化日之下發生，冇人可以抵賴，冇人可以拒絕。大家要記住呢3樣嘢，去講俾人知。而工黨政府佢哋視而不見，只能夠講係裝睡的人叫不醒。而家喺香港嗰個人權狀況依然都係非常之嚴峻。大家如果有繼續去睇新聞嘅，我會見到每個月都仍然有人俾人去拉緊，因為政治嘅事件。甚至乎近排有單新聞，唔知大家有冇睇到，係好侮辱性，係即係拘禁咗72小時之後，你連捐血嘅資格都冇。呢個係活生生嘅歧視、矮化。而好多人就因為喺呢個情況之下，需要嚟到英國尋求一個庇護，或者尋求一個避風港。而我哋一直都好感謝英國政府，其實喺19年以嚟，佢哋出咗好多力去保護我哋。但係如果呢一刻去容許我哋嘅加害者跟隨我哋嚟到呢度繼續迫害我哋嘅話，基於之前我講嗰3件事，呢個係對於之前嘅所有努力、所有民主價值嘅推倒、白費、枉費。絕對唔可以俾呢件事發生。之前我都同啲人傾過，即係我哋其實都明白政府嘅政策而家就係拖，佢一直拖到人哋人數唔夠，或者有一刻佢哋就可以夾硬通過。但其實變相去諗，我哋係創造緊一個變數。Suppose 一個中國咁強大嘅國家，佢要推一個大使館，基本上係輕而易舉，冇嘢可以阻到。但係大家睇，因為我哋企咗出嚟，到今日佢都做唔到。到今日佢都仍然冇信心去做到，呢一個就係我哋團結出嚟嘅力量。我哋雖然細，但係我哋一直催促緊一個變數出嚟。變數就係所有可能嘅根本。請大家珍惜同埋信任自己嘅能量咯。咁啊，係時間關係，我唔講太多不必要嘅説話，我淨係會嗌一句口號，咁希望大家跟住我嗌就 OK 啦。我會嗌民族自強，大家嗌香港獨立，民族自強，香
港獨立，
民族自強，
香港獨立，
民族自強，
香港獨立。
多謝。
Thank you, Zeng. Thank you. Right now, 19 Hong Kongers have bounties placed on their heads for daring to speak out, and 9 of them are actually here in the UK. And what the government is planning to do? Are they planning to build a fortress like this to put more pressure on them? What do we say? Say no to CCP! Say no to China Mega Embassy! So I'm happy to invite Tony, one of the activists in Hong Kong, who has got the bounty on his head. Thank you.
大家好，好感激大家再一次走出嚟。唔知大家有冇留意到呢？早幾日英國政府話俾我哋香港人聽，呢一個超級大使館嘅計劃會押後最終嘅決定， 會去到9月先會有最新嘅決定。大家有冇少少回憶啊？喺2019年嘅時候，林鄭話俾我哋聽，修訂逃犯條例草案會暫緩，會壽終正寢。喺我嗰一日見到呢個新聞嘅時候，我第一個印象係啲咩啊？我第一個印象唔知大家會唔會都有。其實好明顯㗎，最近無論係國會議員，無論係 local， 我哋在英港人，甚至乎今個禮拜美國政府、瑞士政府、唔同嘅西方國家嘅政府，都對呢一個計劃係表達咗憂慮嘅。呢一度嚟緊，如果被批准去進行呢個計劃，地底會有200間房。呢一度200間房係做咩啊？可能係攞嚟關押異見人士，可能係竊聽、截取呢度附近嘅通訊，冇人知道，全部大家可能係靠估嘅。但係我哋係咪要承受呢個風險？我哋係咪要承受呢個危機啊？我哋要話俾更加多身邊嘅香港人、身邊嘅英國人知道呢一啲嘅事情嘅發生。我哋呢一刻要繼續去走出嚟。我唔知主辦單位會唔會再去主辦呢一啲嘅活動，但係如果有嘅話，希望大家去走出嚟，繼續去行出嚟。呢一刻佢哋押後呢一個嘅決定，喺我眼中係佢哋落唔到台啊！係英國政府而家落唔到台啊！全世界都反對緊呢個計劃，但係佢哋過去又上台，工黨政府上台之後，不斷去同中國交易，不斷去向中國獻媚。而家點樣下台啊？落唔到台㗎。如果嚟緊呢幾個月我哋唔繼續去走出嚟，我哋唔繼續寫信俾 MP， 繼續去施壓，繼續要求 MP 去質詢政府，嚟緊冇人去行出嚟。英國政府嘅大條道理同大家講，已經冇相關嘅憂慮啦，已經冇人再反對啦。我哋可以繼續去推行呢個計劃啦。我哋唔可以容許呢啲事情嘅發生，我哋唔可以去屈服，我哋要繼續走出嚟。過去最近我哋見到內政部又出咗跨境鎮壓嘅指引，唔知大家有冇去睇？我自己睇完，我好憤怒㗎。成份嘅跨境鎮壓指引，所有入面官方去寫嘅嘢，我相信係每一個香港人都有熟知嘅一啲嘅指引，好熟知嘅一啲嘅保護自己嘅手法。在英港人爭取咗4年、5年，我哋得到啲乜嘢啊？我哋得到嘅係一份我哋每一個人都知嘅指引。我自己喺被通緝之後，曾經喺街頭遇襲，我一樣去跟住個指引，我告知警方，我係一個啱啱1個月前被香港警務處懸紅通緝嘅香港人。結果係點樣啊？警方唔派員到場，警方去幾日之後先嚟落口供。如果呢啲事件繼續發生、繼續出現嘅時候，我哋香港人點樣去走出嚟捍衞我哋嘅自由啊？我哋點樣繼續去發聲啊？我哋發唔到聲㗎。警方3個月後話俾我聽，其實可能係種族仇恨嘅罪行嚟嘅啫。跟住到而家冇消息啦。1月到而家，去見唔同嘅官員，去會見唔同嘅大臣，最終我哋又得到啲乜嘢啊？呢一刻我哋香港人更加需要嘅係向英國政府據理力爭，要求英國去履行佢哋保護在英港人嘅承諾。我哋要繼續去反對超級大使館，我哋要繼續話俾英國政府聽，佢哋嘅跨境鎮壓嘅保護措施遠遠係唔夠。好希望大家繼續去走出嚟。香港獨立，香港獨立，香港獨立。
消滅中共，推動習近平；消滅中共，推動習近平；消滅中共，推動習近平。
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. So, what can we do now? We fight back. We keep coming to here to protest against this Chinese mega embassy until the government say no to it. Say no to China mega embassy. Say no to China mega embassy. Apart from doing the protest, I urge everyone here to sign the petition for designating the Hong Kong and the Chinese government in the Foreign Influence Registration Scheme, the FIRS. We are distributing the flyers for the QR code which leads to that petition. So if you can see one or you can help me to distribute the leaflet to everyone, please help us to do so. Thank you very much. So the police urged us to stop this assembly sharp at 5, and we are very close to the end of this assembly. But before we end, we would like to sing the national anthem of the Hong Kong together.